frame is held by pillars of hate. As time passes, man evolves. He solves questions and adopts new ones. He gains exposure and experiences things that constantly faze him. The emotions through the spaces are feelings at moments when we are unsure of our characters, when we are confused as to what side of the pole we are, when it seems as if we lost communication with the world, when we drown in thoughts that apparently exists only in a literary world. Moths in my soul captures this moment. You're not alone. In a world with diverse ideologies, mentalities, origins, and beliefs, we all are bound to connect paths at a point.
What papers are you having?
In different disciplines,
I'm sure you have no idea.
a unity in the aim of positivity presides over this diversity. It's normal to be baffled, dazed, bewildered. What matters eventually is who you decide to be. The frost saddens my heart, that cold from the pain, and the mind of the oak, and the faraway forest one windy winter. The lone oak, watching alone in silence, human alone in agony, standing aloof in wonder. Through the withering branches I see streaming tears, its dry bark mourning in sadness. In the twisted roots I see history, a story awaiting discovery, that loneliness that mystifies and saddens and hypnotizes in the eyes of the oak. I'd love to write a story, the one beyond the reach of your ears and away from the caption of your eyes. It's the story of a young fly, flourishing in a wild bloom, the sun kissing its edges, adding to its brilliance, a beauty to behold, endearing your heart, bewitching your mind. But then winter comes, bathing its petals in a cruel cold, freezing the sepals in a wicked frost, killing the elegance of the young bloom that now aches in the heart of the beholder, remembering the sight of a twinkling star, remaining nothing but silent twigs. Apocalypse. My faith is staggering. Fate towered over. Hold on to this, it falls. Lean on that, it breaks. Colliding into a colossal wreck, my life loops and looms. My heart matching the pace, twirling and turning in the twilight call, basking in the dreaded moment, lying quietly in vain until it was too late. I became the watcher, gawking at my own misery. Not so sinister, not so cold. Every man was once a plain canvas, awaiting the hues of shades and tints. Not so colors, not so cruel. Man was once a soft heap of clay, awaiting to be baked in earth's kiln. But when time erodes, initiating the innocent, pure soul, a devil awakes from the rears of his slumber, so his image cannot fit the pristinity man once used to be. Black and white, good and evil, dark and light. My head's filled up with long scripts of wrong and right, choked and carved to the rules I obey with the last of my might. But this is not the life I chose as my own, right? Deep down is a badass nigga, real and bright. Chained up in here is a diva, your dream delight. Hot and sleek, slim and curves, I'll make your night. Buried head, damn shorty will blind your sight. But peace, they say, so peace it is. Love, they say, so love with ease. Your life with the spirit, your soul's on lease. But none of them sees the real me craving release. Intoxicated but annihilated, I've anticipated, then mitigated. Once she got excited but was relegated. Now I'm by the casket heaven where demons dominated. Garbed in black and white, my face soon stuck with a smile. Pure and serene, the other being perceived as vile. But she walks in my shadows, awaiting the rile. Or me behind the curtain, so she brings out her style. The snake molted, butterfly emerged. That brought a new person was born, burying the shadows of who existed, the rise of something new. A different personality, ways changed. That she was remolded. I buried her where she can be saved in the forever land. In the midst of no ones, she knows not who she is. How will you find her when she's caged within here? It was just an illness,
Right.
a little headache. No, I thought it was a sprain, something minute. Why did you leave me? I dreamt of buying you castles, offering you horses. I wish I could offer the world, but he just didn't wait, for you were weak. Why did you leave me? I saw your radiant smile and believed all was well. We didn't have the world, but I was happy to have you. You'd run from house to house to feed my ailing loins. And your cloak will cuddle me when the rain comes sweeping, forgetting you need warmth too. You told me stories of the tortoise and bird when life sings a deafening dirge. Why did you leave me? You'd walked in through that door, fed me with your hands, those icy fingers that will move now. I saw a fade in your face, just an headache was all you said. I slept that cold night in your warmth. We were on a boat when you suddenly fell. Waking up from the scream, you were always here. Didn't fall, didn't leave. Your arms around my tiny waist, but you didn't wake. Why did you leave me? I called your name, but you remained silent. Your gentle lips froze and didn't smile. Your eyes had closed and wouldn't open. Your hands just settled there, wrapping my feeble beam. Why did you leave me? I'm but a stranger to the world, abandoned and unknown. How should I live on without you? I started all alone, the journey of hooks and loops. Passed all the thorny roads, climbed all the slippery hills. Yet a part is missing. I think I lost myself on the way. And no matter how much I try, it won't come back. It gets farther and now I can't go on. I think it's actually the end. The world had welcomed me above, so I traveled the length of its vast land. I should pay a visit to the underworld and see what it has to offer. Being was man's greatest flaw. A chance to shape scriptures or become a heaven's outlaw. Being became man's hugest fall. A choice to rebel or hearken to the awakening call. An empty scroll, it dripped from his mother's will. Then shades and hues, it became a picture. A garlanded captain, he sets his boat to sail. Cursed north, oblivious his mast as a puncture. If it were the tree that stood in the sun's embrace, or welcomed the rain's subtle grace, perhaps you see more to life than culture or race, or basic laws of nature it can't erase. Had it been a bird that chirped at dawn and traveled the horizons, its wing, its dawn, maybe his being would see the questions he failed to note, and see more to the story than what they wrote. Sometimes I like to see myself as an owl. Super clear eyes and soundless moves. However sad I'm just me. All I see is the gentle drizzling rain. The rain from the mist that covers my mind. Where there are silent muffled sounds. The air is damp and stiffens the inner me. My eyes are open without sight. Past and future merging into a haze. This haze that hums and blooms. It forms loops and moves. The stars have ceased to dance, and my path became ruffled. However sad I'm just me, and the way forward I never see. In here where the temperature is low, freezing my mind and lukewarm heart. So sad it's this way everywhere. Too bad there's nowhere to hide. Either I grow and survive, or starve and decay. So little strength on my control. One weak tug and it snaps in a broken down world. How do I keep my mind and my safe world from the gory emergence of the monster within?
Right. I want to welcome everyone to first edition of the monthly reading, monthly book reading by the Literary Renaissance Foundation. They, as you would have seen in the invitation, saw that we'll be having a very, let me use the word fiery, a poet and of course a performer. Yeah, I'm sure we've all been enjoying the anthology, the poems that we've been listening to. Very awesome. So I say welcome once again. I can see that the poet herself is here. That's the person of Rodiyah Adegoke. I want to say you're welcome. Yeah. I also want to welcome everyone. So to do the proper welcoming, I'd like to invite John to welcome us all to today's reading. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Good afternoon. Hi, Rodiyah. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for coming for today's monthly meeting. This is actually our first one for the year, 2021. We hope to have more of this and more of these people. So thank you very much for coming. For today we have Rodiyah Adegoke, and the title of our book is Moths in My Soul, which we already.
Oh, that's the message is a bit poor. Sorry, I can't hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. I'm just welcoming you to the monthly reading. Hope you're ready for us. We're actually waiting for you. Hope you're ready for us.
Oh, yes. Okay. Can you hear me? I can. The network is a bit poor here. I can. Oh, okay. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rodiyah Adegoke. I'm the author, a poet actually, of Moths in My Soul, and I'm here today to perform some pieces and read some pieces from the book, some poems. I hope everyone is still here.
Before you go ahead, I think Mrs. Omateye would like to say a few things, a brief intro about. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Mrs. Amache, we're happy to have you now talk to us about Literary Renaissance Foundation. I'm sure there are some of us here who are hearing about this name for the first time, so perhaps you have we're going
by a couple of, I would say, friends and people with common interests. The reading culture in Nigeria is kind of poor, and then it evolved towards was on social media, not just other forms of reading. And we found the need to, that's why it's like a renaissance, because it's bringing back what we were used to. The way reading was, I recall talking to, I think it was Joan, and I told her, growing up, when my dad would travel, and I'm very certain that a lot of us will have this experience. So like now you travel, when you get home, you want to buy your kids biscuit, chocolate. No, they'll buy you books so that you can read. And so we grew up on books, and for some of us, it was natural just to see a book, pick it up. We'll read dictionaries, read newspapers. Even when we were young and we didn't quite understand, what was going on in the country, we would still be forced to do that. But there are a lot of Nigerians, and I'm going to talk particularly about two categories: those who do not have that opportunity because they thought of it as really. They didn't have that background growing up. And that's one of the group of people, two amazing, fascinating worlds that we live in. Through a book, you can travel the world. Through a book, you can make new friends. And that's one of the things that we strive to achieve with this foundation, to introduce the world to people. And of course, there is the category that, they're exposed, they've had the opportunity to read, but that they read, things have changed. So some of the content that they read is quite different from what we would expect, people to read. And so they read, but they are not exposed. They read, but they've not engaged text to the point where in conversation you can just know that this person is exposed. They read, and these days, my mom is an example. There's nothing she won't send to WhatsApp broadcast. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And it's all she won't send it by WhatsApp broadcast. And there was a time that I saw, it was one broadcast I saw, and it was attributed to some professor in Kenya. And I was like, there's no way. The language, the word choices, I read it and I was like, no, there's absolutely no way a professor would write like this. So I took the text, I went to Google, I did a little bit of research, and I saw that he didn't say anything like that. He never said anything like that. And according to the write-up, they claimed that he resigned because something didn't happen, and nothing like that happened. And I had to correct that. And it's one of the things that reading does. It makes us curious about the world. It makes us want to investigate what exactly is going on rather in the world around us. And that's essentially what we want to do. We want to introduce the world to people, those who have no access, to whom we would like to give this kind of access and opportunity, and those who have access but have narrowed what they are exposed to expose them to more. Just listening to Rodiyah's powerful and fairy, let me borrow the Mage's word, presentation, I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, and I said it, to the team before you joined us, oh my God, we have another Amanda Gorman here. And it's something that should make us proud. It's something that we should celebrate. The things that make people happy or excited do not always have to come from the United States or Europe. They can come from Nigeria because we have that kind of talent. We have those kind of people. And I think they are worthy of, celebration. So Rodiyah, today, as we do this book reading, we want to specially celebrate you. By the time we hear her citation, I'm sure some parents here will go and look at their children again and say, see, you have people to look up to. She's young, but she's done quite a lot of admirable things for herself. And we are happy to celebrate you. We're happy to introduce your work. This is a small community, yes, but it's still our world, and we're happy to introduce your work to our world. We are happy to glean from some of these things. Are they your experience? Yeah, I have questions though, by the time you're done. But it's just an exciting time for us as we engage. Did I really say much about the foundation? I think I hope I did. I didn't want to go the traditional route of saying, okay, who we are, what we do. I just wanted to focus more on our passion, on what really drives us, on the why, who should be exposed to this. And then there are people who are already doing this, whom the world should get to know. I welcome every one of us again to this auspicious event. We will just be so eager for February's edition to come, because you guys, you're in for a surprise, and a pleasant one at that. Rodiyah she's great. So welcome once again, and let's have a pleasant time together. Thank you.
If you have said this in the hall now, would have said, oh, let's stand and give a rising ovation.
No, you guys should watch out now. My TEDx talk is coming soon.
Well, this is really beautiful. Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Omashe.
Yeah.
We are so grateful for that very clear, introduction to Literary Renaissance Foundation. So without further ado, I'm going to just read a short citation about the author and about the poet. And then from there, we'll go to listen to her, Adegoke Rodiyah is a fast-rising writer on the Nigerian literary scene. She started writing at a very young age and published her first manuscript, Connected, at the age of 16. Our different emotions generated from the changing times of life. She is a second-year veterinary medicine student at the University of Ilorin. For her, poetry is a flame that illuminates the soul. She believes that a piece is only complete with the reader and loves to share her thoughts and also communicate with the world through poetry. So I'm going to stop there so that I don't read all of our CV. Let's just, for our time, I think it is a great honor and a great privilege to invite Rodiyah Adegoke for her first reading.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the presence of everyone here today. I can't really describe my emotions, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to share my thoughts. I'm here today to read these pieces. I'm so glad. Thank you. So without wasting much time, I'd love to read two pieces from Disconnected, and their titles are the title piece itself. The book is made up of 19 poems. So the title piece is Seeking the Lost Me, Inner Man. I hope I'm still communicating. Okay. So the title is Seeking the Lost Me in a Man, and I'll recite another after that by name, as in it's titled Flawless Human. So to start the first one, Seeking the Lost Me in a Man. This piece is particularly a piece that I so much love because it's something that is a bit personal. You know, the emergence of a new person. You know, it's kind of surprising how human beings, how we change, how we mature into, you know, a different being, different from who we used to be. So that's the major inspiration behind this piece, this particular poem, and is the major clip I've been sharing since the launch, since it's the title piece. So permit me to recite Seeking the Lost Me in a Man. So the rose was stripped of its red petals. Darkness embraced like golden medals. A new light shone that brought me to fame, accepting the new person that I became. At the expense of the soul I had to offer. Wait, I'm still here, she begged to differ. Submerged in cosmos, ever lives slightly sown, that fragile being that I disown. Who are you, and what seeketh you? I seek the me that once saw white as bright, that person that believed in light being right. I walk alone on empty shell, wandered in realms words couldn't tell. I roam in search of the me that used to be, and now that being seems so strange to me. Who are you, and what seeketh you? I came in quest of my innocence that I may achieve pristine eminence. I be from a fruit that casted doom, wind the dinings of who was whom. Now I hear echoes of screeches and screams of person that billows even in my dreams. Seeking the lost me in a whirlwind of hope, awaiting her hand to grab or looming rope. What is it that I became? That this being and I are not the same. So that, okay. I'm sorry I got a bit emotional in the last few lines, you know. Okay. So the next piece is Flawless Being, Flawless Human, actually. So this piece is referring to human beings and how ironically imperfect we are. You know, to scientists, to artists, to, you know, in different fields, they believe that man is the highest, is the peak of existence, is the most advanced of all the species, is, you know, a lot of things. But on further thoughts, like it occurred to me that man is actually imperfect, is the most imperfect of all beings, of all species, of all existences, and that was the main source. It was the inspiration of this piece. It's titled Flawless Human. Okay. Being was man's greatest flaw. A chance to shift scriptures or become a heaven's outlaw. Being became man's hugest fall. A choice to rebel or to hearken to the awakening call. An empty scroll, it dripped from his mother's wails. Then shades and hues, it became a picture. A landed captain, he set his boat to sail, course north, oblivious that his mast as a puncture. If you were the tree that stood in sun's embrace, or welcomed the rain's subtle grace, perhaps you'll see more to life than culture or race, or basic laws of nature he can't erase. Had it been a bird that chirped at dawn and traveled the horizons, its wings it will don. Maybe his being would see the questions he failed to note and read more to the story than what they wrote. So, okay, that concludes the second piece from this book. It's titled Flawless Human. And, you know, I have other poems from this book, but these are the two I chose specifically because I feel, you know, it relates to the book more. Moths in my soul is actually representing the emotions that we have in our mind, but we I can't say, let me use the word, we are afraid to challenge them, or we haven't found the words to name them yet. So they remain there just like moths, moths, they are eerie compared to their sister counterpart. Let me use the butterfly. We all know. So like the dark version of butterflies, we have this common expression, butterflies in my belly. We use it to represent emotions that are that are positive. I mean, when we are happy or gay or excited, or you see something that makes you feel good, you'll be like, you have butterflies in your belly. But for Moths in my soul, the way it sounds, it's just the darker version of this expression. Like, there are emotions, there are thoughts that linger in our minds, but we can't name exactly. They haunt us. Let's talk about the first piece, where we have, seeking the lost me, inner man. Everybody grows up. There was a time when you were young and you could express yourself. When you are happy, you laugh, and when you're sad, you cry. But as we grow older, we realize that there are times you'll be happy and you can't laugh. And there are times you'll be sad, but you can't let the tears out. This is caused by maturity, by the change in age, like your growth. And there are emotions that, they just haunt us. We seek that person we used to be. You look back and see, who was this plain innocent person I used to be? But due to factors, our environment, the constant change, the things we're exposed to, we become people who, let me use the word, we can't identify. We just mold ourselves into what the society wants or what the society requires, what the environment needs. So, there is always remnants of these, let me use the word guilt, but like trying to remember who we used to be, like that. So like that's just the major theme of that poem. That's the title piece, and representing the moths in our soul. And for the other one, actually it's a deeper poem. I just found the message is deeper than what is actually written. I tried to choose words that are liberal, and words that they won't transmit negative emotions. Like, it's actually talking about man and how we think, how we believe we are perfect, and how we think we are at the apex of everything, and the reality we are not. Like, we are so vulnerable to many things. So that's just the major theme of that poem. So that's why I chose it to be the second piece. And if you like me to go on, I can select others. Since it's the book reading, I'm so glad to be here, but due to time constraints and all.
Okay.
So,
all right. I don't know if it is possible for us to just unmute and just give a round of applause to Rodiyah for this very beautiful performance and those very deep words that we just listened to. So let's just do that very briefly. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to say thank you very much. You've listened to her. I know many of us must have always heard this saying that the eyes are the doorways to the soul. But I believe that if the soul could express itself, it's going to express itself in poetry. And the beauty of poetry is that even though she titled it Moths in Her Soul, I believe it's actually moths in almost all of our souls. So we all connect on that front. So say thank you very much for this wonderful thing you've done. It's a very brilliant one. And I'll just leave the lines open to people who would like to ask questions. Because if I start talking so that I don't ask you all the questions, although it looked as if you started answering them partially, after your renditions. But then the lines are open. If you'd like to ask a question, you might want to just raise your hand, and then you'll be able to, have you, and you have the chance to speak to the author. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Dimeji, I think we should just do a little bit of housekeeping so that it's not rowdy. Like he said, please use the raise hand icon to raise your hand so that it calls on you, and just to make it seamless and really nice and tidy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark. So who would like to ask a question? I can't see hands up. Okay, I'll raise my own and ask my question. All right. Okay. My question basically would be to ask why dark. I think Moths in My Soul, appears to be this has a dark, aura around it. Something. Something quite heavy, not it's not like the ones you listen to when you're going to a party. It is the one that you listen to, that you sit in your corner, start imagining your life, let me use that balance. So I'd like to ask, why dark feelings? Really, you mentioned things that were eating us, things that eat one up, questions we have that we couldn't ask. But I'd like you to tell us more about what inspired this anthology. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay. For your question, Sire, like this, the book was inspired by a single picture. Like, okay, let me start it this way. As a 19-year-old, I wanted to publish a book before I clocked 20. Like, I wanted to publish a book as a teenager. So, and this is my last year of teenagehood. So, I already had a lot of poems written, and I got the inspiration to choose the title from a picture. Like, I was watching a movie, and the picture of a moth came up. So, it was like so much related to the butterfly, but it had the story behind it. And as a 19-year-old, in my last year of teenagehood, which represented, years of, let me use the word, oligarchism and, this wayward attitude. There's this stereotype with teenagers. And let me say that represents, the brightness and naivety. You're just growing up. And when you move into older years, when I clock 20, 21, the society starts to see me as an adult. So like at this phase, I'm like in the middle of both. So I wanted a message. I wanted, it's like peeping into the future, imagining myself as that old person that is now reminiscing of those years, seeing how I was going to be as a 20, 21-year-old. I would start to see things in a different light. I'll start to think deeper, feel deeper things, understand things more technically, and all. So like it's a message to teenagehood itself. It's not just about this stereotype. It's not just about the concept, the idea of being a teenager. So the moth brought this this inspiration, and then I thought of butterflies in my belly. So the moth was already there. So I wanted messages that were directly from my soul. Like I wanted to communicate with the world. I wanted people to relate with these pieces. I wanted people to find themselves in these pieces. I wanted them to read their story in these pieces. So it was just like my gift to teenagehood. And I wanted something that was not particularly related to teenagehood. I didn't want something bright, something people would see that, okay, a teenager wrote this. I had poems based on love, on the society and other topics, other concepts. But I wanted to select a poem that, when I read as an older version of me, I'll get the message over and all over again, like that. So I wanted a dark concept. And, like, I don't know if it's just me, but I have this concept that when something is dark, people appreciate it more. Like, when something is dark, it forces people to think. Yes, that's just my own mentality. Like, that's what I think. When you have a bright, gay song, people, this positive aura around it makes people think of it as normal. But when you go into the eerie concept, then people have to struggle to wonder that what's this about and all you get. So that's the major inspiration. I just wanted something that I'll be able to look into as an older version of me, and I'll be able to appreciate, and I'll be glad that I told that story to the world at that age. Let me emphasize on the age. So that's it majorly for the topic. And I just went through the book. I mean, all my poems, I selected those pieces that add themes related to the topic. I mean, the main title, the title of the book. So that's it.
All right, thank you very much. That's something. Right. I'd like to ask, how much of these do the society inspire, basically? Because, of course, as a student of literature, I want to believe that there's something about the society and the things we produce. So how much of this?
Okay. For most of these poems, there are pieces that I wrote about 4 years ago. Like some pieces, the first poem actually alone, I wrote it about 5 years ago. Yes. And well, this poem is a contemporary one, as in the book. The poems in the book are contemporary poems. They're not directly tackling societal issues or vices or something. They're personal poems, like the internal turmoil, the internal conflict, and nothing comes to the inside except it comes from the outside. So most times it's coming from whatever you see in the outside. Probably you met someone and you're so baffled that how can someone be this way? How can someone think this way? And that would force you to think and ruminate on your own, So I can't say it is directly attached to the society, but in a way, because I am what surrounds me. I think the way what I'm exposed to is actually like. So I believe people are actually made by their exposure. If you get more exposure, you know a lot of things, you know more things. If you're little exposed, you know less things, except for, So that's what I believe majorly. So I can't say it's completely detached from society too. So it's more of the society and internal thing. I just wanted emotions to be let out. Like, let me communicate with the world through poetry. I wanted people to feel my emotions. I wanted them to understand that emotion of that persona in the piece. So that's it majorly. I'm not trying to, stuff like that.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think because of her time, she was only able to read 2 poems. But then, why don't we just have about 3 minutes to listen to other poems in the anthology? Just listen to the recording. We're playing it before the whole thing started, but then let's all listen to it and let's come up with our questions. The questions are already coming in, but then let's listen to that. Okay, just for a few minutes to just listen to some of it. Okay, as we wait for the thing to come on, I think it's just as an aside.
into the dark.
Right. Thank you. If you'd okay, please, I think one of the information we'd like you to avail us before you go is let us know where we can get the anthology if people would like to buy. But then, thank you very much. I'd like to know, how did you start writing? What inspired writing? You went veterinary medicine. You should be chasing dogs and go. Sorry. I'm giving the injection. But then now you're writing and you are writing so well that it's so hard to believe you are 19. And then, you also perform so well that it's hard to believe you are in the sciences. So please, read us of our confusion, enlighten us.
Okay. Actually, this is when I was younger, like as a little girl, whenever my dad was around, he started from whenever we came back from school and we had assignments, like all these compositions, he would ask me to write. He would lead me through. Whenever we had debates in school, he would give me points. My mom too, both of them. They'll be my audience, and I'll be performing right in front of them before I go to the main stage. I mean, to perform a debate or anything, public speech. And when I got a bit older, when I was in my junior secondary school, like in the weekends, we used to have sessions at home where all the kids would perform, we'd be given topics and would actually have incentives, you know what I mean? Like money, stuff and all, just to support. So we performed, we debated, we were encouraged. So that was where the spark came from, majorly in my junior secondary school days. So when I got to the secondary school, I changed schools, and it was a difficult decision for me to move either into arts or sciences, because many people felt I was talented with arts. Like people have been like, you speak well, you have a fine voice and all. So many people wanted me to go for arts, then I could end up going for literature, English or something. So even in my mind back then, I used to think I was going to go into arts. So when I changed schools, it was in the break, the holiday. So they were having this summer coaching stuff, and I just entered into a class. I went for registration and I entered into a class, and I found out they were having a tutorial. So it was a science class, like there were science students there. So I joined that class. So, well, I just sat and listened. So I think, I was confused before, but being in that class made me feel it's not so difficult. It's something I can be into. Like, okay. And luckily enough for me, my mom is a literature and English teacher, Mrs. Adegoke. she did this literature and English. So I felt I could kill two birds with a single stone. Like, I had my mom at home. Like, my major interest in arts was literature and English, and my mom could teach me this. So I felt if I went into science instead, I can learn from school those things in science, and when I get back home, my mom would teach me the things in literature and English, just things I feel I need to know. So like it was like I was running both concurrently, but I'm a very lucky person. Like, I had my mom to the rescue, so that's majorly, like, that was how I coped with both. And my dad, like, with all the performances, I mean, we did competitions at home with between my siblings. So that was it for that. So after finishing secondary school as a science student, I wanted to study pharmacy, but when I got admission, I was given veterinary medicine, and the way Nigerian system is. So as time went on, I grew to love veterinary medicine. But when I did my O levels, I did WAEC and I did NECO. So for WAEC, I went for science courses. But when it was NECO, my mom asked me to include art courses. Like I did government, I did literature, I did economics, I did IRS. Like these were core arts subjects. So just that if I wanted to go for a diploma or for a course in arts, it would be easier for me. Like I wouldn't have to redo these courses or something by that time. So like right now I have the qualification for both sciences and arts. So I'm thinking probably after I finish veterinary English or law, I should do one of the two. That's a majorly, I would say, a big thank you to my parents. They made the bulk of this possible. They so much supported me. They encouraged me. Anytime I wrote a new piece, I always brought to them and they'll be like, "You've done so wonderfully great." Like they pushed me through through the whole process. And my brothers, my siblings, everybody in the house. Like actually, we have a lot of writers in our house. My mom is a writer herself. My sister is a writer. My brother is a writer. So let me just say, it rolls in the blood. I'm a lucky person. Thank you.
Wow.
So that's it, really.
Wow, thank you. Well, as an aside, just for your ears alone, let me ask mommy or daddy if they are open to adopt one more son. This one has pot belly and has 2 kids. But really, I was saying that you have
Make that 2. Make that 2 children.
Okay, so we have many people now on the queue. But I remember I asked first. Okay, so wow, you really have very forward-thinking parents. Because I know because of the way you speak, I was expecting you to say that you were in the UK at some point because this is what they do, and then you speak as if you were there, as if but then it's beautiful. It's really you're a gift, basically, and I would love to continue to hear you, and then see where all this leads to eventually. So I would like to invite Mrs. As we will fondly call her, Mo, to ask her question. She said she has lots of questions for you. I guess she came.
You've been very generous and asked some of my questions already, but I just wanted to ask if you wanted to introduce someone to your work, what poem would you recommend the person to read first? I think it appears
I think she's having challenges with the network. Okay, can you hear us?
Hello, Rodiyah. Video is frozen.
Okay, I think while we wait for her to.
Okay, we can just do some.
Okay, yes. We'll wait for her to reconnect.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
She's here.
All right. Maybe you should ask your question again.
Okay.
Did you hear my question? Can't hear you very well.
The network is really not going well. All right. Okay. Rodiyah, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. The lines from your end is breaking kind of.
Okay.
Oh, okay. This is quite better.
Okay.
All right. So, did you hear Mrs. Mache's question?
No. I couldn't get the question.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I asked if you wanted to introduce someone to the world of your poems, which of your poems would you recommend as a first read? As an introduction to the world of Rodiyah.
Okay.
The mind.
Okay. I feel poetry has different meanings to different readers. So I feel if I am to recommend a piece, if it would be, I'll be able to do that better if I meet the person. For me, my favorite piece in the whole book is what I recited, Seeking the Lost Me, man, because I feel it's much more like it correlates so much with the title of the book. So I would recommend personally, generally, Seeking the Lost Me, man. The other one I recited, Less Human. So, but first on the list would have been Seeking the Lost Me, man. So that's it majorly. But if I were to meet the person on a personal note, I'll be able to understand the person better, and I would be able to relate. I can guess the piece the person would appreciate more. So it depends, but generally, I feel I would recommend Seeking the Lost Me, man, and Flawless Human. Particularly because okay.
I said they're both beautiful poems anyway, so.
Thank you. I feel probably because I work most times when I write, it's spontaneous. Like I write spontaneously. Probably I got the inspiration. I just keep on writing, and many times not to distort the message. Like I won't like to affect the message, so most times I don't edit. I mean, to make the words rhyme and all. I want to keep the message raw and direct. I want the person to feel my emotion at that moment. I don't want to affect it by trying to follow rules or something, divided it into stanzas and probably making the lines rhyme or something. At times we stray from the message in the course of doing this. So, but for these two pieces, I was able, I don't know, in a way, to still pass my message and a deep person, I mean, a literary figure wants to see, would find the literary beauty in it. And if a layman wants to read, will be able to communicate. So I feel that's why I love these two pieces particularly. I mean, they add the rhythm, the rhyme, and the message too. So that's why I would recommend these pieces.
Thank you. I don't know if you noticed the medical students in her jump out.
Yeah. Wait till your patient first. No. What she knows.
Well, really, you're such this is such a wonderful one. It's really beautiful to meet you. I had to go search for you on Twitter. But then, if you would like to follow your works and all, how do we meet? How do we do that? What are your social media handles?
Okay. Since I'm a veterinary medical student, I will know how medicine is in Nigeria. Like most times, I'm not active on my social media handles, but lately I've been working on improving them and trying to keep my works updated. I mean, keep people updated with my works. So I have an active Instagram account. I have an active Twitter account, although I've never used it. it's a confession, but then just to keep people updated, I'm trying to post at regular intervals now. And on Facebook, it's been a while since I used, but then it's active too. And WhatsApp, everybody uses WhatsApp, so I can use. So on Instagram, my ID goes Rodix One Bleeding Soul. Rodix is my pen name. Anytime I scribble, anytime I write, I use the name Ronix, RONNYX. So it's like my signature for all these phones. So on Instagram, it's Ronix One Bleeding Soul. On Facebook, it's Rodiyah Adegoke. On all my other handles, it's Rodiyah Adegoke and all. So Rodiyah Adegoke on Facebook, Rodiyah Adegoke on Twitter and all. So that's how it is for my words. For my accounts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we listen to her again, because I'd actually love her to come up with one last word, maybe one short one before we go. But then, Mrs. Emo, I don't know if you would like to talk about our other readings. LRF.
Oh, yeah, certainly. So we have, I mean, like the Major rightly said, this is a monthly program. We have it every last Sunday of the month, where we invite a special guest for a reading, and then we take questions. You have the opportunity as participants to speak directly with the author, ask questions, get to know the mind of the author, and then of course you also have the opportunity to know what's prompted the author to pen down their pieces, poetry, novels, short stories, and even other forms of writing. Um, and then apart from the monthly book reading, we are also about to set up a book club. So we invite everyone here to be a part of that. If you're interested in being a part of the book club, you could just drop your mobile number in the chat box and then we'll get in touch with you. Additionally, we have some other programs that we do. We do school visits. Also with COVID now, it's kind of iffy, but usually we'll go to schools, meet with the students, talk about the importance and the value of reading. We also have some competitions that are currently in the works. Since we have your email addresses, we'll let you know what we have planned as time goes on. But those are essentially programs that we have for this year. Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry, I dropped her social media handles in the chat box. So for those who are interested in following the amazing Rodiyah via social media, please just just follow her. You can search for her on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and then just check out and see what she's up to. I would like to know what she's working on now. Some people like to keep it like close to their chest, but if she doesn't mind sharing, we'd love to know what she's working on now. And
Thank you.
I want to know if she has a novel in the works.
Yes.
She might just want to surprise us with something different.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think before we go to the next thing, round off this book reading, we'd like you to read one more poem here.
Okay. Okay. So, of the remaining 17 pieces, I decided to choose black and white.
Okay.
It's one of the pieces in the book. I really love the piece because that's so much contrast in it, and I feel everybody has a contrast. There's this dark version of us, and there's a light version of us. The good and bad in us. So that's what the poem is about. So reciting black and white. Okay.
All right.
Black and white, good and evil, dark and light. My head's filled up with long scripts of wrong and right. Choked and coughed, the rules I obey with the last of my might. But this is not the life I chose as my own right. Deep down is a badass nigger, real and bright. Chained up in air is a diva, your dream delight. Hot and sleek, slim and curves, I'll make your night. Buried in air, a damn shorty will blind your sight. But peace, they say, so peace it is. Love, they state, so love with ease. Your life with the spirit, your soul's on lease. But none of them sees the real me craving release. Intoxicated, but annihilated. I've anticipated, the mitigated. Once she got excited, yes, was relegated. None but a casket, heaven where them was dominated. Garbed in black and white, my face soon stuck with a smile. Pure and serene, the other being perceived as vile. But she walks in my shadows, awaiting a rile, or me behind the curtain. So she brings out our style. So
I think there's this energy.
I can't get enough of you.
No.
Wow.
The two binary oppositions came in with the form. So beautiful. It's so
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I
Thank
mean, even watching her perform is even more spellbinding than hearing it.
Thank you.
Something else, really. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have something you'd like to maybe say to everyone who has going to come out to be here today to listen to you. Maybe kind of your last words. To just say hello.
Actually my network is not so good here, so I couldn't get you, but are you asking me to like say or what, sire? I want to confirm, sir.
No, okay. I mean, do you have anything you'd like to say to people that took out time to, attend this book reading?
Okay.
Because we're running the whole thing now. So.
Okay. For people that got the chance to witness this event, so much appreciative. Like, it takes a lot for you to sacrifice, your time, the interest, the will to invest in someone else. It takes more than humanity, really. So I'm so much appreciative. I can never thank people enough. The whole event is actually not my doing, but support. And I don't know, really, I'm so happy and grateful. I can't express this in words. I'll just go on and on. So thank you, just to keep it short. And for people that couldn't make it, I wish my major aim is to communicate with people irrespective of race, origin, connection, or whatever. I want to be able to speak with people, communicate with people. So whoever you are, wherever you are, not seeing this, I hope one day you find a piece that would resonate with you, like a piece you'll be able to find your own story in, a piece, that speaks with you. So my major wish is to be able to recreate people's emotions in my works. So if you're not here today, I hope and pray we meet someday in any way. So I would wish that you check up my works or other great works. We have great writers out there. So I just want to, find a message that suits you, that would heal you in any way. That's just it, majorly. I hope I'm able to, I'm very bad at summarizing things. I mean, keeping things short. I feel most times you're not able to express yourself better. So most times I drag things and go on and on. But in the end, I wish I'm able to pass my message. That's it.
Thank you. You were able to pass your message. I wanted to keep this for the last. You actually have a beautiful smile too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everything that you have. So thank you very much for with this gift, and then for blessing us with this work. I think it's something we'll continue to do. Something we continue to remain from. That you called it a gift to teenagers, but I call it a gift to all. So thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Mr. Dimeji, may I?
Okay, yes, me.
Okay. Rodiyah, thank you again so much. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. For our participants, I wanted to announce that we will upload this event recording on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to drop the link to our YouTube channel now in the chat box, and just watch out for it.
Okay.
And then for those who are interested in the audiobook or the ebook, Rodiyah, how do we get it?
Okay. The ebook is available on Amazon. Actually, I publish it on both Amazon and Okada Books. the two sides. So, but on Amazon, I found out their format is much more, to me, like personally, I feel it's easier. So I would recommend that people visit the site on Amazon. And if people are interested in getting a signed copy, that means it's I signed that copy. Like people can get it from me or my marketers. So that's it majorly for the.
Do we have a number to call, an email to send our
Okay. Well,
interested?
it can be gotten directly from me, or I'll drop the numbers in the chat box so people can get the books and all the book rather. I'm sorry. So that's
No problem.
Yeah.
So for those who have already asked behind camera, please look out for. Just check the chat box. You see Rodiyah's number. You can reach out to her and buy your own. Please, an autograph copy. It's not all the time that you get this opportunity to have the author, sign her book for you. And I mean, it's a powerful one too. I think that we should just support. We should support Rodiyah. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rodiyah, let me just. The WhatsApp group afterwards. Madam Embo has been really talking about getting a signed. You can bet that we are many on that queue for a sign.
Imagine, why are you exposing me like this?
Please expose that.
So
without further ado, I want to invite Joan.
Rodiyah, thank you so much. I love everything.
Yeah.
I know you talk with so much like for your age, like I can't even believe that you are 19. Really.
When it's out.
All right.
Yeah. So you're expecting it.
Okay, so to everyone, we say thank you for being a part of today's. Thank you so much. I'm sure you enjoyed yourself the same way we did. Me, I still have that thing, the whole euphoria and everything. So I'm just going home with it.
Wow.
So I think this is a very good gathering, and I think if you can lay your hands on the recording that was played earlier, I think it's good to play it in your car. It's not every time. Really, to listen to something to cool your blood, make you imagine your life. So thank you very much, Rodiyah. Thank you, everyone. I bet if we call you next time, you're going to come. We say have a wonderful time and please do something. Thank you.
I wish we could just show our videos so that we could take a snapshot if we don't mind.
Okay.
Just take a snapshot of everybody for our records.
Okay.
Can we all turn on our videos, please? Thank you. Moses Salagba, we shall talk. Can we turn on our videos very quickly so that we can take a snapshot? Thank you. Thank you. Okonkwo Juliana. Bid, I want to see your face now. Ifeyinwa Okolo. Mr. Olakunle Adegoke, please, if you don't mind. Babalola Karimot.
Let me see this.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Sorry.
We also have Moses Salagba.
And Let's take one more.
Sadiq Kolade.
Okay, yeah. I see Kolade always looking. So this Sadiq dresses up all the time. I like the way he dresses. Thank you.
Thank
I've
you so
taken
much.
some nice ones. Thank you.
Thank you
I
too.
hope I was smiling in the picture. All right.
Bumi, our supermodel. Yeah, thank you very much. Image, over to you.
Okay, they said over to me, but I think we're done for the day. Of course, we don't want to go home, you know. But then there's this song I would like to do my own rendition. Goodbye, our friends. It's time to go. We don't want to go, but we really want to.
I think we'll rather end with Rodiyah's poem, please.
Rodiyah's poem, to end the day, to sail on into the rest of the day. So, over to you, our wonderful host.
When I fell in love with the
Thank you. Have a pleasant evening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
fear gripping my spine. Its cold gaze, lightning flashes at night. Hollow images of darkness behind the curtains of my dreams. Balls of sweat on my skin, and my anguish stings. Rainfall of doom and skies of gray. Fate's own design, man's heart the blind. Fear of thoughts erode in a dawn of a cause to below. Horror, the fear of not what is, but what will be. Heart's gentle thoughts and breath's agate escapes. Apex of rapture, rapture beyond the names. Demons in their dull ruby apparels, your soul they feel. Life on an angry thread, no planks beneath to save. Guilty of hope, hopeless and love. Kill this love with your red hands in blood. Crystal clear diamond irises, bathed in warm pristinity. Gold freckles of peace, flickered into millions of cells. An aura of calmness and innocence. The atmosphere hails such subtle creature that sinks into the heart of the beholder. A fierce grasp that keeps you in a reverie, just by catching a glimpse of what it is. What the mask really hides is not a monster destined to destroy, not a coward afraid to explore, not a figure of doom and anguish, unlike the mask, whose frame is held by pillars of hate. As time passes, man evolves. He solves some questions and adopts new ones. He gains exposure and experiences things that constantly fade. The emotions through the spaces are feelings at moments when we are unsure of our actions, when we are confused as to what side of the pole we are, when it seems as if we lost communication with the world, when we drown in thoughts that apparently exist only in a little free world. Moths in my soul captures this moment. You're not alone. In a world with diverse ideologies, modalities, origins, and beliefs, we all are bound to question our paths at a point. But the belief in good, in different dissimilar existences, a unity in the aim of positivity presides over the diversity. It's normal to be baffled, dazed, bewildered. What matters eventually is who you decide to be. The throat saddens my heart, that cold from the pain, and the mind of the hope. In the faraway forest one windy winter, the lone oak, watching alone in silence, human alone in agony, standing aloof in wonder. Through the withering branches I see streaming tears, dry bark mourning in sadness. In the twisted roots, I see history, a story awaiting discovery, that loneliness that mystifies and saddens and hypnotizes in the eyes of the oak. I'd love to write a story, the one beyond the reach of your ears, and away from the caption of your eyes. It's the story of a young flower, flourishing in a wild bloom, the sun kissing its edges, adding to its brilliance, a beauty to behold, endearing your heart, bewitching your mind. But then winter comes, bathing its petals in a cruel cold, freezing the sepals in a wicked frost, killing the elegance of the young bloom that now aches in the heart of the beholder, remembering the sight of a twinkling star, remaining nothing but silent twigs.